Alright, so how's it going? It is June 22nd, 2017. It's approximately like 8 something or other in the evening, and I got a haircut. Have less hair than I had beforehand. Cool, yeah. So, here is what's up. Cool thing is I got a van. So, you know how I mentioned that I was desperate for another living situation, and well, it turns out while I was gone, somebody got me a van, and they worked on it because they're sweethearts and they love me, and they reach my goals better than I can. And so they basically did 99% of tearing it apart. Um, it's a 95 Dodge V8 Magnum, and it's super cute, big and white. What's up, Leo? It's a conversion van, and so they had to take out all the stuff that was already in it. They did a pretty good job because it's basically bare now, and today I took out the last parts of it. I took out this big red ugly chair, and then I took out the entire left-hand side. So now I just have to take out the floor and clean it up and other things. But I'll let you guys know how I'm doing with that. I don't have like a GoPro or whatever, but I'll let you guys know. I've got ants. Get away, little bugs. Anyway, so today I figured I'd be a little bit educational because I am putting these on in the public world, so I'm going to be educational about it. So today we are going to talk about system terminology, because that's one of the things that I actually remember from therapy. I remember a lot from therapy, but system terminology is important for everybody. Okay, so I'm not scripted on this, just so you know. I'm like blowing this out my butt the entire time that I do this, so I'm sorry if I screw myself over, so please don't eat me alive, internet. Anyways, system terminology. First off, we've got a system. A system, in dissociative identity disorder terms, is a group of two or more alternating consciousnesses, alters, that work together or not quite so much together to exist, maybe harmoniously or not. A system can vary in size from being the host and one other alter to being the host and 27 to maybe even 200 and 300. It just depends, you know. The higher number you have, the more likely that you're probably polyfragmented, which means that you've just got a crap ton of alters. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I personally have a crap ton of alters, so I can't even keep track of all of them, so it's kind of like, I know like 4 or 5 of them, and that's about the extent of my knowledge on anything. And now that everybody has miraculously disappeared, I'm going to either learn more new fantastic people or find the old ones. So, journey on that! Woo, yeah! Okay, so that is what a system is. Let's see. Okay, so in a system, the alters is short for alternate state of consciousness, alternate consciousness, because that's exactly what it is. It's basically like this extra person over here that's extremely well developed, just like how you are. Like regular single personality people are extremely well developed. Well, alters vary because they're not quite one single person, because the one single person that they're supposed to be never became that one single person. So they're very developed and have their own likes and interests and stuff like that. And likes and interests is like the same thing. Dislikes, they can be very similar to the host or the body, or they could be wildly outlandish. Like I have got a what is it? A transvestite interdimensional demon that's like has hardcore like daddy kink, who's like 4 freaking feet tall, and they're blue. I think they're blue. Pretty sure they're blue. They might be purple. No, they're blue. They're blue. And has really bad narcissism, but that's like probably the most outlandish person I can think of right now. Their name is Megalomania. They actually have a lot of self-loathing problems. So anyway, so that's like the craziest one I can think of. And then you've got Cody. And Cody is your regular Joe. I mean, she's like a gamer and she's gay. And that's like, I don't really, she's a human. Hardcore hipster. I mean, I really don't know a lot about her. Supposedly she's an apparently normal part, an ANP, which is what that's short for. So she kind of pretends to be me when I'm not here, if she's around. I don't really know, but that's a good comparison. You got Cody, who's a human, regular dude, girl, and then you got Megalomania, crazy demon thingy with weird things that they do. And then you got me, who's freaking, I exist, so that's cool. So those our alters vary very differently. Yeah, they're so whiny. My cat, he's mad at me because I haven't fed him yet. He gets fed twice a day, which is a lot because he gets like one of those it's like a whole huge bowl. And anyways, I'm getting off track. Okay, there we go. That's an alter. Now, one can say that the alter is like, that includes the host and the core, if you have a core. In our system, I'm considered the core because I'm the person who has the name that happens to be Kristen, which is cool. I'm okay with it. I wish it didn't come with all the other crap, but I mean, there's not much I can do about it, so I just deal. So, alters, the alter is kind of like the biggest tier. So you've got system, which is the biggest, and then you've got alters, and then you have every branch thereof. Now, the first branch is the core. The core is supposedly the core personality. Now, that can be up in the air because a lot of, like, the whole point of fragmentation and having alters is that the core personality does not get fully created, which is why I probably have a horrible time for being me, because I don't want to be me no matter what I do, but I can't really not be me because everybody freaks out when I'm not me, and that sucks. So there can be a core and there cannot be a core, but usually when people talk about core, they mean the person whose body and birth date and name all match. Like their face matches their name, matches their body, matches any other crap that is associated with me. So like with them. So like my name is Kristen. I matched Kristen's body. I matched Kristen's birthday and that sort of stuff. But I am her, but that doesn't mean I want to be her. So it's very confusing, and I really don't want to get into it because it's identity stuff, and there's a reason that I have a identity disorder. So we'll get to that later. Then you have the host. The host is the alter who takes front the most, usually. They're called the host because they tend to take front the most, and other alters take over for them. The host also often matches the name and the body as the core, the person. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are the core. It could just mean that they're a copy or whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's how I've kind of gathered it. So, I mean, my word is not God's. So, if I am wrong, let me know, but please don't be mean about it. So the host can also be various other alters at any given time. So like, say I leave, and I'm like, screw this shit, I'm out, and somebody else fronts, like, like Medusa, when she was holding down the fort while I was gone, she was acting as the host. She's not me, but she was acting as the main alter at front who took care of most of everything, whereas other alters kind of would come in and just grab things from her. Okay, so there's the core and the host. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and skip all the way to persecutor because I want to, and I want to just get it over with. So, okay, persecutors. Persecutors are also known as abusive alters, abuser alters, or just bad guys. They're bad guys. But that doesn't mean that they're bad guys. You know, Wreck-It Ralph right there. Yeah, I did it. So, persecutor alters, they can be created by abusers, or they can be created just because they are. For instance, you can have a alter that self-harms. They're a trauma alter. They have traumatic memories and they self-harm. They're not necessarily acting like intentionally as a persecutor, but they could be categorized in that category because they are harming the body and they're harming other alters, or they're harming themselves. And that's basically what a persecutor does, is they harm people, they hurt each other, and they hurt other people for sometimes no apparent reason. For instance, I have a persecutor. I have a few. But one of the main ones, his name is Fear, and from what any of us are aware of, I'm pretty sure that he is actually not created by an abuser, but he is an introject of an abuser. Introjects, particularly in the persecutor section of this, introjects are alters that are based off of other outside influences. A lot of them are based off of real people, like your abusers. Fear is based off of many abusers because he's like all of them in one. Horrible human being. He's not even a human being. He's actually a changeling. He doesn't have a form or anything. He's just like this big, black, scary mass with red eyes. He's terrifying. And he's got like a super sultry, manly voice. But anyways, they're based off of other people, and they can also they're also not necessarily based off of just people, but they can be based off of fictional characters. Those are called fictional introjects, while people introjects are factual introjects. They're based off of a human being that existed in this real world. And there we go. We got that out of the way. The short term for that is fictives and factives. I think. Yeah. Yeah, because that's different from fiction-kin and fact-kin. We'll get into that later. So, fictional and factual introjects, they're a thing. They also can be non-abusive alters, but we're not talking about non-abusive alters. We're talking about persecutors and abusive alters. So, abusive alters, sometimes they have a motive and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's unclear. Sometimes they don't even know what their motive is. Like, we don't know if Fear knows what his motive is or if it's just to be an asshole all the time. I think it's just to be an asshole all the time. Whereas Lick, who happens to be, he's a subsystem. He is a subsystem, subalter of Jamie, and his motive is to harm Jamie, mostly. Jamie is this, like, 12-year-old little dude. Super brat. He's a freaking ass for a 12-year-old. Shit. But Lick is an even bigger shit. He's, like, 18 years old, and he's a sexual alter that his motive is to screw with your genderness, because Jamie changes genders. Anyway, we'll just get away from that anyway. So, also, abusive alters, they don't necessarily always mean to be abusive. Sometimes they can't help it. Sometimes they can't control it. Sometimes they're made to do it because it's a program. There we go. We'll skip to program 2 because we're in the P's now. A program, much like a computer program, programming is the act of kind of like brainwashing somebody through abuse. There's lots of ways that people program other people. The biggest one, and you can actually see a lot of this sort of thing in music videos. I can name 2 off the bat. Brick by Boring Brick and Never Too Late by 3 Days Grace. This sort of programming is called monarch programming. Basically, the monarch programming is you tell your victim that they need to go to this magical world or go to their happy place, and in that moment you're basically forcing them to dissociate so that you can have control over them. And abusers can get so into this programming that they can program actual alters and create alters if they find out that somebody is building a system, whether it's their doing or not. Like, for instance, I'm going to get into some personal crap, but I'm not feeling it today, so I'm good. When I was little, I was abused before I was programmed. And so I was already building a system because of how young I was. And the abuser that took advantage of that built his own system that he used against me as a form of control. And that's really bad. Don't do that. Don't ever do that, okay? I'm sorry. That's a bunch of, that's a jerk move. Don't do that. Other forms of programming. This one is a really popular one. I saw this, probably a year ago. You know me. I'm horrible with keeping track of time. Everything is 2 weeks ago to me, so. Walk-ins. If you're a DID system, that thing doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's not real. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. It is a tactic for abuse. Basically, you're saying, your abuser is saying, I can walk into your system and hurt you and your altars whenever I want. That's basically like, that's basically like saying, I'm going to build an introject of myself and torture you with it. Which is programming. That's an act of programming. And it's wrong. And it's abuse. It's wrong. Okay. Programs can also not just affect singular altars, but it can affect the entire system. For instance, I have, this is from the same dude. I don't know who this guy is. I don't really want to know who this dude is, but they're not a friendly person. But they're the main abuser that I'm regaining a lot of regaining some memories of. But this guy is freaking mad genius at programming people, but I'm pretty sure he had a lot of practice. Anyway, so he basically built... Jesus, you're so whiny. He basically built half of my system and then laid down a brick wall and said, these are the secret things that you actually don't know, but you know them, that are not allowed to happen. And so, like, when we call them the rules, they're just the rules. We don't even actually know what these rules are. They're just rules, and you can't break them. It's extremely distressing. And I don't mean like, oh my God, I'm so distressed. I mean like panic attack, bawling, banging your head against a wall because it hurts so much. Stress. It's like, it's awful. It's awful. Horrible, terrible experience. And so, that's an act of programming. It's making a bunch of rules inside somebody's head, repressing them, pushing them so far down that even though they know them, they don't actually know them. They can't recollect them. And so if they try to break them without even knowing, it's extremely painful and it has a horrible negative impact. That's another form of programming. Okay, now that we're out of that, we're going to talk more about kinds of altars. Other kinds of altars are protectors. They're great. Fantastic human beings, if they're human. Protectors are altars that protect the system. They don't just protect the system, though. They also protect other altars and the host and the body. I consider there's like three levels of protectors. There's a physical, and then there's an emotional, and then there's a spiritual protector. So, physical protectors, they physically front and they physically protect you. If you're getting beat the shit out of, sorry for my cursing. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I've cursed plenty of times before, but if you're getting attacked and you have no other options, a physical protector may come out and beat the crap out of whoever is beating the crap out of you. Great example, when I was being stalked by this asshole, and as first started existing, I didn't think that he was an altar. I thought he was like an imaginary friend or an asshole conscience, because he was kind of mean to me, but he's redeemed himself. But when I was being stalked, it was not a good time for me, and I did not deal well with this jerkhole. And so, this was great. I hear stories about this, and I want to remember it so much, but it's so funny. has walked up to this guy, the stalker dude, because he was sitting at my table, and he grabs his head like this and slams it down on the table. And he's like, if you ever come near me or my system or Kristen ever again, I'm going to kill you. He probably didn't say it like that. He probably said it way more scarier because he can be really scary. But why are you... Stop trying to crawl. There's nothing under there for you. Anyways, so that was really cool. And I commend him for that. He is a fantastic example of a physical protector. He will physically harm somebody if they try to harm me, which is great because I'm a pussy. So, I said that and then I stared at my cat and he's like, yeah, you're a pussy too. Anyways, he's a great example of a physical protector. I have another one whose name is Sin, and she does not like guys at all. She will claw your eyes out because she's a cat. A spiritual protector. Because when I was going crazy, I guess, I call this my going crazy year because I wasn't actually there for any of it. It was Destiny. She was me. It's confusing. It's confusing for me and anybody I try to tell it to, but we'll save that for another day. Anyway, so when I was going crazy, I was not very religious in any form, and I'm still not. I mean, I am now, but I'm still not like into like theocracy, or not theocracy, but theological gods and stuff like that. Not super into that. See, because Buddha's not a god. Haha, gotcha there. But our best example and our only example of our spiritual protector is Rouge, and she's cool. She's a witch. I think I mentioned her earlier. She's cool. Basically, when this time period was going... Sorry, that was a hiccup. When this time period was going on, there was what felt like a negative energy. And Destiny at the time, she couldn't tell what was real and what she couldn't at all. So she thought that she thought it was ghosts. She thought she was going crazy. Well, she knew she was going crazy, but she didn't know what it was. And so Rouge kind of popped around and was like, well, you know what? Let's do witchcraft, and let's do this, and maybe this will help. And it did. And so she's our designated spiritual protector. Okay. And then we have, what is it? Emotional protectors. They're great. Love them. They deserve way more than they get because they are just fantastic things. They're just great people. Great people. Emotional protectors, they tend to be trauma alters. And they tend to harbor a lot of pain. A lot of pain. A really great example of our emotional protectors is Siren. Siren is a fallen angel. She's a trauma alter for sure. And she has a lot of pent-up rage towards God and stuff, but she basically protects us from, or me, from feeling bad things. You know, she holds all that stuff because she can, and she's strong enough to, and it's so great because obviously I'm not. Another great example of a emotional protector would be Destiny. Destiny is only 12, So she age slides. She age slides from 12 to 16 to 6 to like my age, and I'm 20. So she's all over the place. She's also an emotional protector. We consider her our host because she's the one who found out about everything. Like, I didn't find out until after, until like 3 years afterwards, after Destiny found out, and like in between that, I guess everything was all hunky-dory. That'd be great. I don't know. But we consider her our host because it's more of an honorary title for our system than it is like an actual. Why are you going under? Stop it! You went under there just to play with my feet. Just to play with my feet. Just to play with my feet. You baby. You needy baby. He's eating me. You're eating me. Stop it. So, you made me lose my train of thought. You jerk. Jerk. So, she is an emotional protector because she dealt with all of Fear's crap. All of his crap. Every last bit of it. He gave her his all and basically turned her into a emotional bowl of soup. Like, she went from a human being to a bowl of soup in a matter of a year, and almost killed herself very many times. So we honor her as a fantastic human being that we care very, very much for, and she's precious, so sweet, so sweet. She's like the sweetest child on the planet Earth. Precious. Too good for this world. So there's the protectors. Now we're going to get onward to the, let's talk about managers. Now, I don't know if every system has these, but we do. Managers are alters who are in charge, basically. I mean, that's what a manager is. They can be in charge of various things. As, for example, he's a manager of me. Because I'm my own problem. As basically, well, he did. He takes care of me and just makes sure that I'm doing all right for the most part. I don't know what he's doing now. Supposedly, I don't know. I really don't know. I heard some rumors about him going like that shit crazy, so I don't actually know if he's still around or if he's actually, doing a good job at doing anything, but he's a manager of me. He also, Jesus, go away, go away. Yeah, go over there. Gosh. Jerk. So he manages not just me, but he also manages most of the other altars. Because he can. I don't know how he does it. I can't even be a manager. Like, at an actual place. Working as a job. Guess he can. So, he's a manager. We just call him, like, the head manager. And our other managers are Psych. Psych, his full name is Psych Warden. He's a very small pink bunny man. He's got an eye patch. I think it's this eye. No, it's this eye. It's this eye. He's a gatekeeper, is what he is. In our system, a gatekeeper, and I think this is for every system, it depends on if you have one or not. A gatekeeper is an altar who controls who fronts when, and controls what their triggers are and stuff. He he is one of those, and that's exactly what he does. He controls, like, who fronts when, why they fronted. Not really why they fronted. He doesn't trigger people, but unless he has to. But he usually tries not to. He also prohibits other alters from fronting. Alters like Mockingbird and Dyla and Molly. These are alters that are not mentally fit to front. They're all, we call them the crazy ones, because they are all very unstable. Very unstable. They can't conform to neurotypical conformity like I can. So he can make people front, and he can also stop people from fronting. That's what his job is. The other manager is Toho. Toho is cool. She is the one who starts system shutdowns. Now, I know this probably sounds like, earlier I said this sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but I'm pretty sure this is an actual thing. It's just, it's controversial in the way that it's titled. But a system shutdown is basically where you turn all the lights, like I said it earlier, you turn all the lights off, have everybody hide, and then turn them back on, and so only a few are back. It's a way of fast integration for alters who are fragmented, or they haven't fronted enough, or alters who need to be created sooner, or it's done for any number of reasons. It's done for things like, Kristen needs to come back, or Kristen needs to go away right now, or we don't want anybody to talk to Kristen right now because she's doing whatever. No, a lot of the times, at least from my experience, system shutdowns are usually when they want to hide from me. I don't know what they're hiding. I'm not excited to find out, but they're hiding something. So that's her job. System shutdowns basically involve cutting off all the links. The links are what is our term for co-consciousness, just because it's shorter, than saying co-con. It's like one syllable, so much easier. The links are basically like a bunch of spider webs that like attach to other people, and it gives you the ability to talk to them or travel to where they are. Only downside is Toho can't leave because she's like physically unable to. Yeah, that sucks for her. She's cool. Super, super cool. Really punny. That's why I like her. Like, she's probably one of my favorites. I didn't say that at all. Other manager is Jason. He basically categorizes memories. He doesn't actually look at them, except for the ones that are known to other alters, but he moves them around, I guess. I don't know. I really don't have a whole lot of information on what Jason does, but I do know that he's a manager. And that's something along the lines of what he does. So there's the managers. Okay, let's do entertainers. Entertainers are fun. Basically, when I was a kid, I had no friends. I've never really had a whole bunch of friends. I'm not very good at making friends. I mean, I'm really good at making friends, but I'm not very good at keeping them because, So, for our system, entertainers are alters who are specifically there to make friends and to entertain singletons and other people outside of the body. Our main one is Anthony Freak, and he is so great. He is actually agender, and he uses the he pronouns. He's an alien from a different planet. I know a lot about him because he was one of the first alters, and everybody knows a lot about him because he was one of the first. Not like the first, like, in the line of trauma, but like the first to actually come around and be like, sup? So Anthony Freak, super cool, and his go-to thing is he's very gentlemanly. He's the kind of dude who like bows down and is like, let me kiss your beautiful hand, you're a princess, and I'll suck the water from your teeth or whatever. And he's also really good at playing the piano. That's one of his entertaining qualities. Other entertainers are Ghost. Ghost is technically Anthony's sister. She is about 7 years old. I don't know if she still exists. Everybody says that she's gone, but they can still feel her. So I think she's like roaming around somewhere. She is super hyperactive. Super hyperactive. She talks really fast, loves to make friends, and that's her job. She makes friends, and she talks to them, and is like, talks their ear off until they don't want to be my friend anymore. So, she's not very, she doesn't front very often anymore because she is 7, and she acts like a 7-year-old, and it's not, really needed for me to act like a 7-year-old to make friends because I'm not 7, I'm 20. So other alters exist to do other stuff like that. So if I were to be honest, I'm probably an entertainer because I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I lied. I'll be your friend for about 45 minutes and then I will not talk to you. I have a people bar and it's usually like that low all the time. So, entertainers, they're cool. I have more. There are more, I'm sure. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Ah! Here's a good one. Okay, I gotta situate myself. Oops, I'm sitting Indian style and it hurts. So, let's see. We've got... Keepers. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Keepers. Great alters. I only have one. Her name is Rosabelle, and her job is to keep persecutors, namely fear. That's like her only job. She wears a literal ball and chain around her neck that has fear in it, and she doesn't let him leave. I've got some glare going on. There we go. So that's her. That's what she does. She's a vampire. She's cool. Let's see. Okay, so in a system, you have male alters, and you also have female alters, and you also have non-binary, agender, genderqueer, transgender alters. Gender is just, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Because I happen to be non-binary, whatever. I don't know. Probably the closest thing would be agender, but non-binary is just good enough for me because I don't want to think about it too much. But I'm non-binary, so I have a lot of alters who not only shift off of the gender binary, but switch on the gender binary and happen to be transgender also. And alters can also feel dysphoria because they're in the wrong body. They're fully or nearly fully developed personalities in the wrong body, and so they can feel dysphoria as well. Or like my transgender alter Toby, he is dysphoric all the time, even when he's not fronting, because he's transgender inside too. So like he's dysphoric all the time, and so he hates existing. Okay, so there we go. We got genders out of the way. Ages. Alters can vary in ages. As I mentioned earlier, you can have an age slider like Destiny. Destiny moves ages. That's what an age slider does. They can move from a younger age to an older age and back and in the middle and all over the place. And I'm going to move again because I'm also comfortable again. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get on your. I'm sorry. Whatever. Okay. So, age sliders, they just move all around. Younger alters, particularly, we categorize littles at about 10 years or younger, because teenagers are like 12, like 11 and 12 and older. Well, actually, no, we categorize like 12 and older, and then 11 and younger is littles. Littles are little kids, and that's just short for little kids. It's, try not to conflate this with the daddy little girl kink, but they do anyways. People do anyways. Little alters are just little children, and they have the brain functionality of children. So treat them like children if you ever come in contact with them. If they, the thing about littles is they can also have varying abilities that are not always associated with children. Like some children can drive, or some littles can drive. Some children can drive. Some can't. It depends on how well your parents teach you, if they do or not. But some littles can also be able to do the host's work. Like they work at a cheese factory. Maybe the little knows how to make cheese for this cheese factory. It depends. Littles can be anywhere on their abilities, but some of them are usually not on any ability. Littles can be trauma alters or otherwise. They can be protectors. They can be really anything. They can have imaginary friends if they wanted to. They could be imaginary friends. Yeah, they're just, at its core, they're just child alters. Now, bigs or adult alters are alters who are usually around like the 18 to, I think the oldest alter I have is like 45-ish. So bigs are 18 to 45, and I've got plenty of them. And then we have non-human alters who tend to age well above that. I've got Anthony happens to be like 800 years old. Rosabelle is over 1,000 years old. It varies on non-human alters. They can be hundreds to millions of years old. And non-human alters are anything. They could be a freaking car. They could be a cat, like Sin. They could be a god, or a goddess, or an angel, or a demon, or a dog. Like there's no bounds to any non-human alter. They could be an interdimensional space demon, or an alien. It's just it depends on what the child who is being abused is in need of at the time. So that's a cool thing. Let's see. There's also human alters. I think I've covered almost probably everything that I can think of right now. So just comment if I leave anything out, because like I said, this is not scripted at all. I'm just going off the top of my head because that makes me seem, I don't know, more real as a human being. So I try to be as real as I possibly can. I think that covers all of our DID alter terminology. And, oh, no it doesn't. Okay, so, here we go. We've got ishes. I call them ishes because I'm lazy. Ish is short for internal self-helper. They're like moms. They're like mommy alters, and they're usually pretty nice. That's about it. There you go. Then you got ANPs, which is the apparently normal part. This can be an alter. This is also used for, I think it's used for bipolar, or no, not bipolar, borderline personality. You can have an apparently normal part. None of me is normal, ever. I'm kidding. I'm normal sometimes. But, that is exactly what it is. It's somebody who seems normal. You can have not normal folks and normal folks. It just depends. So this is literally like 30 seconds, like 9-10 minutes away from being an hour-long video. So I'm going to stop it right here. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. I'm done talking about DID terminology. Hope you guys like my new haircut and my cat being a jerk. So, bye!